Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Reiki Radio. I'm your host, Yolanda Williams, and if this is your first time tuning in, I just want to let you know that you can listen to past episodes in the archives on Blog Talk Radio, or you can subscribe to the Reiki Radio podcast on iTunes, and that way you can listen to any of the other shows that we've done in the past, and I want to welcome you to the community. And for everyone who has been listening to the show for some time now, you know that the schedule has been a little random in the last month, and today's topic ties into the reason. But before we dive into that, I want you to know that the show will be back to a regular schedule, hopefully by mid or late August. And until then, be sure to go to select the option of following the show at blogtalkradio.com/Reiki Radio. And that way you'll receive notification of when upcoming shows are going to air live. Now, I have to admit, it's really late and I am exhausted, but I'm here because I want you to join me tomorrow morning. But we're going to talk about that a little later. So for now, we're going to get into tonight's topic, which is the Art of Cocooning. Now, on the last show, The Urge to Purge, I shared with you how I went through a deep process of release where I felt this overwhelming urge to purge and clear my space in every sense. And, it was in various aspects of my life, but there was so much more to it than just letting go. And what was interesting was that I also allowed myself to just be. I released the pressure of needing to do, and I allowed myself to just observe. So it was like just stepping back and seeing and understanding myself in new ways. And like we talk about all the time, it was all about self-connection. So I was, in a sense, cocooning, which is why I had to release a lot of things that no longer fit. And I was beginning to confine myself within myself for deeper levels of healing and transformation. Now, I do want to point out that this wasn't a premeditated experience. It was something that I allowed to occur. I allowed myself to be guided by what felt right for me at the time, and I trusted that everything would unfold for my benefit, and of course it did. Now, I will say I do believe that it was all prompted by what I was seeking, which was like a deeper level of understanding, which, is normal. And many of you know I do intuitive work and I also channel. And in my channeling, I've been working closely with master teachers and healers for my own healing and growth. And this used to be something that I did on occasion, but more recently I incorporated it into my daily practice, probably a few months ago. And the shifts have been truly amazing. Like I said, it really has been like taking a step back and observing my life from a higher point of view. And when I surrendered to the process, I began to flow in my flow with more freedom. It was without attachment to how things were unfolding in my life. I've just been allowing in my life rather than trying to control certain aspects of it. But what has been most important to me in this period of time is observing the way I'm shifting energetically and creating space for new experience, new lessons, new levels of understanding and awareness. And that's what this is all about. Everything we discuss here on Reiki Radio is about you and your growth. It's about you moving into deeper levels of your own understanding and awareness. And no matter which way you decide to travel on your path, all roads will ultimately lead back to you. In all of this seeking that we do and these questions we try to answer, you are really the answer to the riddle. But we're not going to get into that tonight. So anyway, in this process of purging and cocooning, I started thinking about transformation. And as many of you know, the butterfly is symbolic of transformation. And so I started thinking about myself and my journey in relation to a butterfly. Now, in this thought, I saw myself existing and living my life from the perspective of a caterpillar, just very ordinary, all feet on the ground, so to speak, and not yet in full expression of myself, which, of course, was completely fine until it became uncomfortable. It was only okay until that inherent knowing started to kick in. That nagging discomfort of knowing you are something more and knowing there's something more about yourself, but you can't quite put your finger on it. It's that feeling when you realize that you're definitely more than what you've perceived. And then that's when we start seeking, right? And we start asking ourselves all of these questions. Who am I? What am I? What is my purpose? What am I doing? Where am I going? What's next? And perhaps we run into someone or meet some people and they tell us that we're actually in the process of becoming a butterfly. Okay, now this is where things can get a little off. Now, when we get an inkling that we might really be something more, like a butterfly, many of us become dead set on transforming or becoming something beyond what we ever dared to imagine or dream before. And so we start to read books and take classes and ask other people if they can see their own wings yet, or if they can see ours. And so it goes. But the truth is that we will keep chasing the idea of becoming more until we realize we already are. Now I want you to think about that for a second. Actually, close your eyes, take a breath, and connect with this. Consider this. You will keep chasing the idea of becoming more until you realize you already are. Okay, now open your eyes. Now, let's consider how you can know that you already are. Now, as we talk about on the show all the time, it's about connecting with you and allowing yourself to see yourself, to get to know you. And this is when we often cocoon. Now, the art of cocooning comes with commitment, a lot of forgiveness, extreme amounts of patience, understanding, and a lot of love for yourself. And no, it's not necessarily easy and it's not always pretty, but it's part of the process and it's very rewarding. And as we often talk about on the show, it's all a matter of perspective, how you choose to view and experience what you are creating, the life you are creating. Now, cocooning is all about being wrapped up in you. Your stuff, your truth, your hurt, your joy, whatever may come up, but it's all yours. This is a period of healing. It's a time to look in the mirror bravely without judgment or shame or regret. It's a time to reveal and forgive whatever you may be holding in your space. It's never about looking outward, pointing the finger, placing blame, none of that. It's simply a space of accepting who you are, seeing who you are, and choosing what you're ready to heal for your own transformation. And in this space, you understand that there is nothing to seek outside of you, that you are already what you hope to become. You only have to agree to allow yourself to step into who you are. It's an awareness of self. You will never be a butterfly until you see that you already are. And we go through this process in many ways. Sometimes we do cocoon, and sometimes we attract people to hold the mirror really steady for us, right? But it's not a one-time event. We transform several times throughout our lives. We are constantly shifting and changing, and again, it comes down to our allowance. We always have choice, and we can choose to fight against our growth and understanding, which, of course, can become overwhelmingly uncomfortable, or we can choose to see ourselves in truth and live in harmony with our processes of transformation. One of the things I found very odd in my process this time was the calmness of it all. So after my purge, I moved into this space of clarity, and my mind was really relaxed. And the funny thing is that there were times where I caught myself questioning why I was so relaxed. And I had to laugh at myself because I was questioning the fact that I was at peace, even without knowing what I wanted to do in the next moment. And yes, I had things to do. I had sessions and classes and, just living life. But I was okay with everything being done peacefully without pressuring myself. Now, an example of this was the radio show. If you follow the show every week, you know that I have rescheduled it. And normally that would have really bothered me. But this time, it felt good to honor my own process of healing. And here I am now, and, so it is. Life kept going. But one of the most rewarding aspects of the last several weeks was truly seeing the people in my life and realizing how fortunate I am for the village of people that have been a part of my journey, which includes you. And I just want to point out, and I've told you this before, but I'm so thankful for you showing up and being here and listening to the show and being part of my community. And I really love your emails and the stories that you share with me. I am truly grateful for our exchanges. Okay, so anyway, back to cocooning. Now, I talk a lot about seeing from a space of neutrality, observing and experiencing without extreme highs or lows. And in this neutral space, you want to be void of judgment and not be overruled by emotion. Well, all of this, our state of awareness, the neutrality, our understanding and perception, it all shifts with us. As we go, these levels of neutral perspective and understanding, it all shifts with us. And there's no end to your growth. There are many times that we will cocoon moving forward. Now, of course, I always suggest meditation as a way of connecting with yourself. And I teach intuition courses as a way of learning how to see yourself from a higher point of view. But I know that many people struggle with creating a meditation practice. A lot of people struggle with how to meditate and wonder if they're doing it correctly and so on. So I decided that I am going to guide you. So starting tomorrow morning, July 27th, until Friday, July 31st, I am hosting guided morning meditations at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 9 a.m. Eastern. So there's no excuse. If you want to start meditating, go ahead and set your alarm clock and come and join me. it'll be a really great way to prepare your energy for the day, and perhaps you'll make it part of your daily practice. You'll start creating your own space and routine of meditating. And of course, I know 6 a.m. may be early for some of you, but the meditations will be recorded. So even if you can't attend live, you can listen at your own convenience. So for those of you who are already on my mailing list, you already received the invitation with access to the event page. And if you're not on the mailing list yet and you do want to join us, just hop over to my website, which is yewchi.com. That's YEWCHI.com, and sign up for the Yuchi Wellness newsletter now, and then you'll receive access to. So, we're going to meditate together Monday through Friday this week with a different focus each day. So I hope you'll join me, and I really look forward to starting the day with you. In fact, it's kind of late, so I better go to bed now, and I will talk to you all in the morning. I hope you have a beautiful night, and remember to always journey in love.